Hey, church family, I wanted to take this opportunity to present you with another word of encouragement as we continue to pray for the outcome of this election. Now, as we continue to watch the investigation of the 2020 election unfolding right before our very eyes, we should take a moment to ask, are those who question the outcome of this election being duped by conspiracy theories that have no basis in reality, as the mainstream media would have us to believe? Is it completely unreasonable for us to think that voting machines were hacked? Is it insane to imagine that ballot counts were manipulated? Well, before we can answer these questions, we should first take a moment to ask, well, how easy would it have been to hack into the voting machines that were used in many states, including the battleground states? Would it have been possible for bad actors to manipulate the software to change the outcome of this election? Well, with these questions in mind, I just want to take a moment to consider what a group of hackers discovered after gaining access to the voting machines most commonly used here in America. It was actually back in July of 2017 when the DEF CON hacking conference invited all hackers to come and test 5 different types of voting machines. They wanted to know, how easy is it to hack into the voting machines that many counties use to run our elections? And according to a 2017 report produced by CNN Tech's Lori Siegel, all of the available machines had been successfully hacked by the end of the weekend, some of them within 2 hours. And after seeing how easy it is to hack into those voting machines, CNN decided to reach out to Dominion. However, Dominion Voting Systems didn't respond to their request for comment. Now, Dominion remained silent about the sad state of their voting system security, and that's when Lori Siegel, then decided to discuss voting system vulnerabilities with a man named Jake Braun. Now, Jake Braun was appointed by President Obama as White House liaison to the Department of Homeland Security. And after sitting down with CNN's Lori Siegel, Braun was asked this. She asked him, "Do you believe that right now we are in a position where the 2020 election will be hacked?" In response, Braun declared, "Oh, without question. I mean, the 2020 election will be hacked no matter what we do." Now think about that for a moment. This was the man who, I'll remind you, was appointed by President Obama to serve as the White House liaison to the Department of Homeland Security. And according to him, he already knew back in 2017 that the 2020 election was going to be hacked no matter what we do. Not only that, but listen, CNN Business actually ran this interview without calling Braun a crazy conspiracy theorist. They didn't say, "Oh, how can you say this? This is unfounded." Now compare this, the report that they ran back in 2017, compare that to all the headlines that we find on CNN after the 2020 election, which include, the words voter fraud conspiracy theories time and time again. Just do the search, CNN voter fraud conspiracy theories, and you'll find several articles. What CNN is calling a conspiracy theory today was presented on CNN back in 2017 as an inevitable outcome of the vulnerable voting machines that most counties have continued to use. During that same CNN interview back in 2017, Jake Braun also went on to say this. He says, "Even if we're as more successful than I even think we could be in securing our elections, the question is, will we be able to identify the attacks before they can have an impact on the election through things like audits of vote counts?" In other words, Jake Braun informed CNN back in 2017 that the best way for our government to stop voting machine hackers is to audit the vote counts. With that being the case, we should take a moment to ask, well, why are state level judges refusing to conduct audits of their votes? And why are the states who are conducting audits simply recounting the votes rather than engaging in an actual verification that the ballots are actually valid? Is it because they know that a true audit of the votes will result in a different outcome? I'll allow Jake Braun to answer this question for us. Here's the statement that he presented regarding the vulnerabilities of our voting machines. Again, remember, this aired on CNN back in 2017 when this former Obama official declared this. He says, "If we don't get our act together quickly, this could be one of the biggest threats to American democracy in our history." Jake Braun, back in 2017, was not only certain that our voting machines were going to be hacked during the 2020 election, but that this hacking could be one of the biggest threats to American democracy in our history. And CNN did not call him a conspiracy theorist. No, they ran that story. Was he, called a conspiracy theorist by anyone in the mainstream media? Was he scrubbed, from the internet? Was he shut down by CNN? No. This video is still available on YouTube. I'll post a link so that you can go watch it for yourself. And as we consider his concerns, we should take a moment to ask, why are most mainstream media outlets like CNN insisting now that there's no way that this election could have been hacked? And those who say it is, they're just, spreading conspiracy theories. Were the Dominion voting systems hacked? Were votes changed from Trump to Biden? Were algorithms used to change the value of a vote so that the value of a vote for Trump was less than the value of a vote for Biden? These are some of the claims that are being made, and I can't tell you if that's true or not. I can't tell you if there's evidence to back all those claims up, and yet I must insist that every reasonable American today ought to remember the words of Jake Braun, who warned us 3 years ago that this was inevitable. Remember, he declares, without question, the 2020 election will be hacked no matter what we do. Those aren't my words. Those are the words of the man who served in the Obama administration, and CNN ran that quote in the story that was produced back in 2017. Now, this is not to suggest that all of the accusations and allegations of widespread voter fraud are correct. I can't confirm any of that information. Yet, knowing the vulnerabilities of the Dominion voting machines, which have been used in all the battleground states, I'm here to tell you it's not unreasonable for us to call upon the government to go and audit all of the votes so that we can make sure that this election was free from widespread fraud. If there are, in fact, evil conspirators who use the voting machine vulnerabilities to steal this election, let's pray that their coup and their plot is exposed. And let's pray that the Lord will protect our constitutional republic from every form of election fraud. Finally, and as always, I encourage every Christian, let's continue fighting the good fight of faith, all for the glory of God.